What's up, guys? It's Duke here from SportsGamers.com, and we got a fire Madden 20 tip for you guys today. I'm going to show you guys the most dominant run scheme in Madden 20. This run scheme is going to beat every meta defense in Madden 20 to defend the run from the 3-5 wide to the 3-4 odd to the 3-4 bear with ease. You will be able to easily run all over these run defenses. Now, I'm going to be looking at the Saints playbook, and I want to look at the single back wing stack. This is a very overlooked formation this year, but it is very, very effective. We're going to look at the HB belly, the stretch, and the dive. The HB belly is very key because it's a very glitchy run play that's going to allow us to kill the double safety spy tactic. Also, this formation's alignment is very, very good against man coverage. It will mess up the alignment of pretty much every cover one run defense you're going to see. Now, before we get too much further into it, I do want to remind you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Click the subscribe button in the corner of the video, and make sure you turn your bell notifications on so you don't miss any of our great Madden 20 tips. We've been uploading a lot of content recently that you do not want to miss. Now, in the meantime, guys, please make sure to check out sportsgamers.com if you want more great Madden 20 content. We have the best Madden 20 tips and ebooks, and we got some fire pass plays from this formation too. I can show you guys. If you smash that like button and give me 300 likes, I will drop the pass plays from this formation as well. Now, first thing I want to look at is this 3-3-5 wide with the double safety spy from the two-man undercover two-man. Very good run defense. The safeties really play good most of the time in the run. However, this HB belly weak is a very good run that I've liked for years now, and it really kills this defense because it almost takes advantage of how aggressive the safeties are in the run game, because they're going to crash down, right, to try to come up on the run. That's why it's very hard to get stretches and dives off on this defense. Well, the thing about it is this is kind of like a misdirection run, So we're going to take a look at it, and I'll explain to you why it works once we get it ran a time, so you guys can see exactly what happens. All right, so you can look at the play art and see that the tight end, he's going to, from the right, come across the formation and get that nice block for us. Generally speaking, he will block the spy that's coming down, as you guys can see here, and at this point, it's almost a free touchdown. So the spies by the safeties are not going to take very good angles in run defense. You guys can see in the replay, basically he got really aggressive, came down almost as if it was a dive, because it's a misdirection run. It looks like it might be an inside run, maybe to the right, but it's actually designed to go outside left the majority of the time. You guys can see this is going to not only confuse the user, but even the safety and the spy. Most people will use that middle linebacker. You guys can see they're going to come down as if it might be an inside run, and the safety does too. And that tight end that comes across the formation will block that safety. And now, as long as our receivers on the edge can hold their blocks a little bit, we're going to have a huge run, probably a touchdown. But even if they don't hold their blocks, we still should be able to at least get a couple yards to keep the chains rolling. But definitely speaking, against this defense, I normally get huge runs. Now, one thing you might want to consider is the run blocking stats of your receivers. Maybe if you don't have good ones, you could put tight ends there for that extra run block. So we're going to look at this another time or two just so you guys can see. This is very consistent. This is not something that just works once in a while. You will get this block pretty much every time. And then it's going to be pretty much, a big run off to the races. You guys see here, pretty much the same thing happened. I'm able to get that block on the safety, run to the outside, get down inside the 5. Almost get a touchdown there. So that's another very, very big run for us. Let's try it again, see what happens for us. Again, I just want to show you guys that this is extremely consistent, and it's going to be very easy. As soon as I see this defense, I know that I probably have a big run, as you guys can see here, potentially off to the races once again. So that's 3 times we've done it. All 3 times we've had a huge run. 2 times we got a touchdown, and the time we didn't, we even got inside the 5. So clearly you can see this is going to be very effective against this defense. I would probably run the belly weak every time I saw this defense until they get out of it. So eventually they're going to see, okay, spying the safeties and all that, it's just not working. I'm going to have to do something else. So this is the point where you're probably going to get a lot of people to go back to 3-4 odd and try to run edge blitz or maybe stone brave. Now, what I love about this formation, in addition to it having that belly weak, which is a pretty unique run play that's very good, but it's not found in many formations or books or whatever. The alignment against these cover 1, 3-4 formation defenses is amazing. You can see on the right, there's basically only one defender in the box through those two tight ends. You can see that DB right there. Because our Twins receivers on the left gets both of those corners lined up over those defenders when they're in a man cover one, especially. So now I don't have to make any adjustments on the stretch. I can literally just snap the ball, and I'm going to have the advantage to the right. And it's basically going to be one-on-one with that user safety the majority of the time. But the thing is, should be about 10 to 15 yards before he's even in the play. And, you obviously can make a miss, score a touchdown like you do here, or even if you don't make a miss, though, it's still a nice run. So, you're going to get a lot of big runs against this type of look, too. This is not going to be the answer. See, we get an arm bar for a touchdown. But you can do whatever. You have ability to do running back spin, juke, arm bar, even truck. Maybe just make a miss with some good old stick skill. Outrun him, swerve, speed, whatever. But yeah, you're going to have that opportunity there for that safety to beat him for the touchdown most of the time. We're going to run it a few more times here just to show, again, it's very consistent. Again, pretty easy to do. Good yardage there. Again, very easy. The only way they're not going to give up a nice run is if they get some sort of amazing block shed, which, obviously it's Madden 20. Can happen here or there. Someone just kills their man. You don't get much yardage. But that's not going to be very consistent. Most of the time it's going to be exactly like this, where we just have huge amount of space to work with on the run. So edge blitz is not going to be anything that we are worried about. We will love to see edge blitz. So another similar run defense from the 3-4 odd is the Storm Brave. Personally, I don't think Storm Brave is that good. I've kind of not been a fan of it for a while now. But still, eventually, you probably will see someone try Storm Brave on you. So let's see how it works against Storm Brave. So Storm Brave is a similar alignment. Still a cover one, run D, so you're going to have that advantage to the right. It's just the setup's a bit different. But if you have any sort of stick skill, you should be able to easily follow your blocks, just as I did there, and get some nice yardage. Worst case scenario, one-on-one with safety. Again, I make him, I get around him there with the arm bar, so it's a touchdown. Even if I don't, by the time I end up around the safety, I'm about 15 yards downfield anyways, 10-15, so either way, I'm happy with that. So obviously, you're not going to just be able to come out in these 3-4 odd, very common, cover one, man-based run Ds, because the alignment of this formation just makes it so that they're not effective. You can literally come out, see they're in that defense, snap the ball, and have acres to work with on the right. Now, it's at this point that you might see someone try something else. Maybe they think, well, maybe I can try something out of 3-4 bear. 3-4 bear, some solid run Ds too. Maybe they're thinking maybe I won't be so susceptible to the right side run in 3-4 bear. And yeah, the thing is, any sort of run D that's man-based is gonna get abused. So let's look at that here. 3-4 bear. Another one, people like to slide out these contains. Solid run D overall. However, it's still going to have the same problem. You guys can see the right side of the screen is very weak. And that's just, again, due to the alignment of this formation that's very nice. Very unique alignment. So it's just out the window. So at this point, you really only have so many options left. Essentially, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to play run D from zone. So that's probably going to be the most common run Ds from zone you see. 3-4 odd cover 4, 3-4 odd pinch dog 2 press. So, we can easily attack this too. Now, I will say that it's at this point that you start getting people playing zone, you're actually going to want to have the dive in your audibles too. Because the dive against these zone defenses, unless it's pinch dog 2 press where they're, hovering in the gap with their user, if it's just like a cover 4 run D or just something where they're not hovering the gap, you can easily get 5-6 yards a pop on the dive. Now, even if they pitch their line again, even if they're pitching the line crashing down, unless they're an edge blitz or Storm Brave or hovering with their user, you're going to be able to get good yards. And you guys can see, the other thing about it is you can use motion to your advantage in zone, because in zone, the defenders will not follow your receiver in motion. So there you see I did it on the dive. I can also do that same motion on the stretch. And, it's going to be effective. Now, you guys might, if you're going to put dive in your audibles, you might want to just always come out and stretch and replace stretch in your audibles with dive. Or you can just have the 3 runs in your audibles and only 1 passing play. It's really up to you. But this is overall, in my opinion, the most dominant run scheme in the game, because you have an answer for everything from the same formation. You don't have to audible between a bunch of different formations to beat different defenses. So, anyways, you can see that the stretch is really effective against cover 4 there with that motion. You're not. I will say when they're playing zone, you're probably not going to get as big of gains as you do against man, just because the alignment this formation causes against man, they just cause so many issues. But you're going to still get those consistent 5, 6 yard gains. Might not always be 15 to 20 with the huge touchdowns, but you're definitely going to get good yardage to keep the chains moving. Now, pinch dog 2 press, also has alignment issues because you can see that inside linebacker is just lined up wrong. So while again you might not always get the biggest runs against zone, they're definitely going to be good enough to keep it in this against any sort of zone. So one of the things I like to do against pinch dog 2 press is if I see that they notice that alignment issue and are trying to move that linebacker back to fix it, I just literally quick snap them to the left, playmaker to run the stretch to the left, quick snap them, and then I just catch them off guard, like trying to move that guy back, and I get easy yardage. So, even if I do wait for them to get set up, or maybe they just base align it and then they don't have to worry about it as much, and they get in the gap like this, it's at this point that I know I can't really run dive because most of the time that guy will shoot through one of the D linemen and will shoot through against a dive, but I can definitely run stretch. So one thing people are going to do is that guy that they hover up in the gap, they're going to try to stop stretch themselves. Now, most of the time you play a person who runs this defense, they're pretty bad at stopping stretch themselves, but eventually you will run into the good user who knows how to, at the snap, like, kind of shoot back and hit the gap themselves. Now, here, obviously, this, I can't do both at once, so I'm not able to try to do that and run the ball. But if you do see something like that, you can easily just run this right, and as you guys can see here, there's a gaping hole to the right. Now, if you do encounter someone that has a really good user, you can do one of two things. You can either run away from them, so like whatever gap they're hovering, run to the opposite way, or you can use motion in the run game to also help you out. Because as you guys can see, anytime you use the motion to the side you're running against zone, they will not follow, and then you will gain an advantage in the numbers, which just makes them have to have another offensive player they have to try to avoid with their user, and it just becomes really challenging. Honestly, I have not faced anyone in pinch dog 2 press that could slow down the stretch from this formation because of the lineman issues and then also just, the ability to run either way with effectiveness. Again, anytime you see me say that I love a run play or a formation in general, it's pretty much always a formation that pretty much has good blocking to both sides, so you can't get tossed up only running one way and letting them overcommit. So I hope you guys like this tip. I'm out. We'll catch y'all later.